Deep in the remote Pilbara region of Western Australia, there is a deliberate blank space on the official map. Physically driving into this erased zone brings visitors to a sudden halt. Government barricades block the roads, carrying explicit warnings that the surrounding air and soil present an immediate, lethal danger to anyone who enters. This map illustrates the full footprint of the threat. The contamination zone covers 46,500 hectares, an area roughly the size of Singapore. It is currently the largest contaminated site in the southern hemisphere. Yet this sprawling wasteland was once a prosperous mining hub. Over its lifespan, 20,000 people called this place home, living in a fully established community with schools, cafes, and neighborhoods. An industrial boomtown eventually became so dangerous to human life that the government had to legally and physically delete it from reality. In the 1930s, prospectors exploring the local gorges discovered massive deposits of crocidolite. Commonly known as blue asbestos, it is considered the most hazardous form of the mineral on Earth. Its distinct, microscopic needle-like fibers are highly prone to breaking apart and floating into the air. Industrialist Lang Hancock and the Colonial Sugar Refining Company, or CSR, capitalized on this discovery. In the 1940s, they partnered to extract the crocidolite, building a sprawling mining empire in the outback. They carved massive infrastructure directly into the red cliffs. Below ground, miners were choked by thick clouds of blue dust. Executives ignored global medical warnings about lung disease, pushing these crushing mills to run continuously to meet soaring demand and maximize profit margins. The operation generated immense wealth for the corporation, while unearthing a poison that could not be contained by the surrounding valley. The primary byproduct of this massive extraction effort was waste. Over its lifespan, the mills expelled 3 million tons of toxic blue asbestos tailings, piling up in massive heaps beneath the processing plants. Instead of quarantining this highly toxic byproduct, CSR actively distributed the tailings throughout the town site to be used as free gravel, bypassing any safety protocols. Local authorities used the raw asbestos to pave streets, driveways, and the local schoolyard. Every passing vehicle and gust of wind kicked up fresh clouds of lethal fibers into the residential air. Children played directly in the blue dirt every afternoon. They built sandcastles out of the tailings, and blue airborne bubbles formed from the asbestos dust. The physical town was manufactured from the mineral that killed its residents, turning the basic infrastructure of domestic life into a death sentence. When a person inhales crocidolite, the microscopic needles embed themselves deep into the lining of the lungs, causing creeping, permanent inflammation. Decades after exposure, this often triggers mesothelioma, an excruciating and incurable cancer. As the dormant fibers began to destroy their lungs, more than 2,000 former miners, spouses, and children suffered agonizing deaths. The tragedy fell heavily upon the indigenous Banjima people. They were frequently assigned the dustiest jobs, like loading raw crocidolite, and their sacred ancestral lands were permanently coated in the toxic fallout. In 1966, the mining operation finally shut down. The closure was driven by plummeting asbestos prices and mounting health liabilities, not a shift in corporate morality. The corporation packed up its equipment and balanced its ledgers. The workers and their families were left behind, harboring a fatal poison already spreading inside their bodies. This chart compares a standard municipal cleanup budget against the staggering $600 million estimated to remediate the Wittenoom Valley. Facing 3 million tons of scattered asbestos tailings, the government deemed a total cleanup economically impossible. Unable to afford remediation, the state employed a different strategy. In 2007, Wittenoom was officially de-gazetted. Its name was wiped from state maps, road signs were dismantled, and the government severed all electricity and water supplies. A handful of off-grid residents stubbornly refused to leave for years. Finally, in 2023, the government passed emergency legislation to forcibly evict them, sending in demolition crews to bulldoze the remaining structures into the dirt. Rather than properly decontaminating the valley, authorities chose to legally and physically delete the town's existence, burying the problem to avoid an impossible financial burden. The buildings are gone, but environmental scientists estimate the 3 million tons of blue asbestos tailings remain permanently scattered across the expansive gorge. Fierce outback winds continue to whip up lethal dust storms. Thrill-seeking tourists who illegally bypass the government barricades for photographs risk inhaling the same invisible fibers that killed thousands before them. Wittenoom stands as Australia's worst industrial catastrophe. A thriving community was poisoned, bankrupted, and eventually erased, leaving behind a massive, lethal monument to corporate greed. The town was wiped from the map to protect profit margins and political budgets. Its absence serves as a harrowing reminder of what remains when human life is deemed a secondary expense.